Hello students, this is Jayapai speaking. In this class, I am going to explain to you something about part B experiments, that is volumetric analysis. The first experiment under that is determination of total hardness of water by complexometric method. In the list of experiments already given to you, it is the sixth experiment. Let us see some introduction to the experiment. In your lower classes, you have studied something about hard water and soft water. Hard water is the one which requires considerable amount of soap to produce lather, whereas soft water forms lather readily with the soap. These are the definitions you are supposed to give when you are in lower classes. But as an engineering student, you are not supposed to give such definitions. Here you are expected to give definition like hard water is the one which contains soluble salts of calcium and magnesium. Soluble salts of calcium and magnesium. Now, what are hardness causing salts? Hardness causing salts are sulfates, chlorides and bicarbonates of calcium and magnesium. Any salt of calcium and magnesium, especially, that is sulfates, chlorides and bicarbonates, any of these salts, if it is found in water, then that is said to impart hardness to water. Now, types of hardness. There are two types, temporary hardness and permanent hardness. Temporary hardness, it is all due to bicarbonates of calcium and magnesium only. I repeat, temporary hardness causes due to the bicarbonates of calcium and magnesium only. Permanent hardness, it is mainly due to the sulfates and chlorides of calcium and magnesium. So, permanent hardness, it arises due to the presence of sulfates and chlorides of calcium and magnesium. Temporary hardness can be easily removed by boiling water. Upon boiling, how hardness gets removed? What happens? Upon boiling, soluble bicarbonates are converted into insoluble carbonates. Soluble bicarbonates are converted into insoluble carbonates. For example, calcium and magnesium bicarbonates present in water, they are in the insoluble form. They are in soluble form. Calcium bicarbonate and magnesium bicarbonate are in soluble form in water. Upon heating, they get converted to respective carbonates, that is calcium carbonate and magnesium carbonate. Both these are precipitates. They get precipitated as respective carbonates. Along with that, carbon dioxide gas is evolved and water is also formed. The water thus obtained is soft as it is absolutely free from calcium and magnesium ions. The precipitate can be easily removed by filtration. Now, permanent hardness cannot be easily removed by chemical methods, cannot be easily removed by boiling. They need some special chemical methods like distillation, ion exchange resin method and zeolite, that is sodium aluminum silicate process. These are the important chemical methods by which permanent hardness can be removed. Total hardness, it is nothing but the sum of temporary and permanent hardness. Now, determination of total hardness, it is nothing but determining a total amount of calcium and magnesium ions present in water. If we determine how much calcium and magnesium is there in water, then it is equivalent to determining total hardness. Total hardness is expressed in ppm, that is parts per million of calcium carbonate. 1 ppm of calcium carbonate is nothing but 1 milligram of calcium carbonate per liter. 800 ppm of calcium carbonate means 800 milligram of calcium carbonate per liter. Total hardness, it is determined by complexometric method. So this is important. This complexometric method. For that we need one good complexing agent and that is nothing but EDTA. EDTA is ethylene diamine tetraacetic acid. EDTA is ethylene diamine tetraacetic acid. The role of this compound is as a complexing agent, and one indicator is also used, that is Eriochrome black tea. Indicator used is Eriochrome black tea, that's pH sensitive indicator. It works or functions well in the pH range of 9.5 to 10. It gives striking color change, that is at this pH value at the end point. In the presence of a buffer solution, that is ammonium hydroxide and ammonium chloride buffer. Buffer solution is the one which resists the change in the pH value and it maintains the required pH value throughout the experiment. Now this is the structure of EDTA. EDTA is ethylene diamine, CH2 single bond CH2 ethylene, diamine, these are the two nitrogen atoms because of that diamine, tetraacetic acid, that is CH2COOH, 4 such groups are there. So this is ethylene diamine tetraacetic acid. But disodium salt of EDTA is preferred to EDTA for all practical purposes as it is more soluble in water than EDTA itself. So solubility of disodium salt is much higher than that of EDTA. Therefore, for all practical purposes, disodium salt of EDTA is used. Here, two of the hydrogen atoms are substituted by sodium atom. That is why disodium salt of EDTA. EDTA is represented as H4Y. H4, I mean this is 1 hydrogen, 2, then 3, this 4. So these are the 4 hydrogen atoms taken H4 and remaining portion is Y. Disodium salt of EDTA is Na2H2Y. That is Na2H and then one more H. So Na2H2Y, that is disodium salt of EDTA. Thus when disodium EDTA solution is made to react with the hard water, calcium and magnesium ions present in hard water, they combine with the disodium EDTA and they form highly soluble complex. So that is why the name complexometric method. So calcium and magnesium ions present in water show tendency to react with the disodium EDTA and form highly soluble complex. And reaction is shown below. See here. So reaction is shown here. So this is disodium salt of EDTA that reacts with the calcium and magnesium ions, and hydrogen atoms here they get substituted by calcium and magnesium, and hydrogen ions get released to the medium. So because H plus ions are released to the medium, the pH of the solution decreases because hydrogen ion concentration increases in the solution. pH decreases means the indicator is pH sensitive. It functions well only in the pH range of 9.5 to 10. Immediately buffer solution swings into action and it maintains the required pH value 9.5 to 10. I reiterate, buffer solution is the one which resists the change in a pH value. For this reason here buffer is required. Now what are the changes taking place during the titration? See, in the beginning of the titration, first we are taking the hard water that is containing what? Calcium and magnesium ions, and then you are adding to that EBT. EBT is nothing but Eriochrome black tea, that is the indicator. It works well only in the pH range of 10. In that pH range, these calcium or magnesium ions, of the many calcium and magnesium ions present, some calcium and magnesium ions form complex with the EBT, that is a weak complex, that is MEBT complex. It is wine red in color. EBT in the free state at pH 10 it imparts blue color, but when it complexes with calcium and magnesium it becomes a MEBT that shows wine red color. During the course of the titration, The wine red colored complex, now it is titrated with EDTA. Now when you add EDTA to this solution, EDTA first reacts with the free calcium and magnesium ions present. It first reacts with the free calcium and magnesium ions present in water at pH 10 and it forms MEDTA complex, which is colorless. MEBT complex is wine red, MEDTA complex is colorless. This reaction keeps happening during the course of the titration, almost till the end of the reaction or titration. All the water, calcium and magnesium ions present in the free state keep forming complex with the EDTA. At the end of the titration, when there are no more free calcium and magnesium ions present, then added EDTA will react with the metal EBT complex. Added EDTA will break the metal EBT complex formed in the beginning and all the metal ions go with the EDTA and MEDTA is formed and EBT is set free or EBT is left free. EBT in the free state at pH 10 imparts a blue color and in the beginning you have a wine red color, but towards the end there is a blue color. So blue color is all due to free state of the indicator. Wine red color is all due to the complexed state of the indicator. During the reaction, what happens is all the metal ions, calcium and magnesium, finally they go with the EDTA, and by this we can determine what is the total amount of calcium and magnesium present in hard water. Now, these are the various glasswares used for doing the experiment. You know that titrations means generally we need one burette. Burette is used for taking the titrant. Which solution we have to take in the burette? That is disodium salt of EDTA. It is taken in the burette. And this is the pipette. Pipette for pipetting the solution into the conical flask. That hard water we have to pipette out and it is to be transferred to the conical flask. This is conical flask. This is beakers for some purpose. And this is the standard flask of capacity, various capacity, 100 ml, 250 ml you have like this. This is a calibration mark and this is the lid or stopper, and in this we have to prepare a standard solution of EDTA. It is also called graduated flask or a volumetric flask, and this is the measuring cylinder. So hope you are familiar with all these glasswares. Moving on, the procedure. It consists of two parts, part A and part B. Part A is preparation of standard solution of disodium salt of EDTA. First we have to prepare standard solution of disodium salt of EDTA. For that we have to weigh the given disodium salt of EDTA accurately. First we have to weigh the given disodium salt of EDTA accurately using a electronic balance or chemical balance, and transferred to a clean 250 ml standard flask. That is to be transferred to the standard flask, that is this. In this you have to add that flask. Remove the stopper and then you have to place a funnel here that is above the neck of the standard flask. Through this funnel you have to transfer that EDTA. And add water and dissolve the solid and dilute the solution up to the mark. Next we have to add water here and then remove the funnel and dissolve all the salt completely. Once the dissolution process is complete, not even a single crystal of EDTA is left undissolved. In that case you have to add more water and final volume is made up to the mark. So dissolve the water and then dilute it up to the mark and shake well for uniform concentration. After diluting it up to the mark, close it with a lid and it is to be inverted and shaken well for uniform concentration. And after that we have to calculate what is the molarity of disodium salt of EDTA solution, and once the calculation is done you have to take that solution in the burette. Before that burette is to be cleaned well with the water. It is to be rinsed with the water, and then it is to be rinsed with the small volume of disodium salt of EDTA which you have prepared in the standard flask, and the same solution you have to take it in the burette. You are supposed to fill the burette up to 0 mark, but it is not possible always to adjust the reading to 0 mark, because it all depends on the height of yours when you stand in front of the burette. So in order to avoid parallax errors, or in order to minimize the parallax errors, you have to adjust the level of the solution to your eyesight. So any level you adjust it, and that particular reading is to be noted as the initial burette reading. So this is the part A. It is very easy. First we have to weigh given disodium salt of EDTA accurately, and the weighed EDTA is to be then transferred to a clean 250 ml standard flask with the help of a funnel, and then add water through the funnel and dissolve that solid completely. Once you make sure that the salt is dissolved completely, it is the solution is to be diluted up to the mark by adding extra water, and then it is to be closed with a lid, and flask is inverted and to be shaken well for uniform concentration. Now calculate the molarity of disodium salt of EDTA solution and take that solution in the 50 ml burette. Now part B, that is titration. Estimation of total hardness of water. You have to, given hard water you have to take and pipette out 25 ml of the hard water into a clean 250 ml conical flask. This is the conical flask in which you have to take exactly 25 ml you have to take in a pipette, and that you have to transfer into a clean 250 ml conical flask. Before adding 25 ml of hard water into the conical flask should be cleaned with the distilled water. It is to be cleaned well with the distilled water, but it should never be rinsed with the hard water to be taken in it. It should never be rinsed with the hard water to be taken in it. After cleaning the conical flask with the distilled water, you have to just add 25 ml of hard water into it. Then we have to add ammonium hydroxide, ammonium chloride buffer mixture. So ammonium hydroxide, ammonium chloride buffer mixture, add 5 ml. For that you are given, if measuring cylinder means, with the help of that you can measure 5 ml and then you can transfer it to 250 ml standard flask, and then add 250 ml of conical flask, and then add 2 to 3 drops of Eriochrome black tea indicator. So this is the indicator added. It can be added in the liquid form, solution form, or in the solid form itself. First you pipette out 25 ml of the hard water into your conical flask, then add 5 ml of ammonium hydroxide, ammonium chloride buffer mixture, and then add 2 to 3 drops of Eriochrome black tea indicator. Now the color obtained is wine red. Upon shaking you get wine red colored solution. The resultant wine red colored solution, now you have to titrate it against standard disodium salt of EDTA taken in the burette. So burette solution is standard solution of disodium EDTA. The wine red colored solution obtained in the conical flask to be titrated against the burette solution until there is a color change from wine red to clear blue. So when you get a clear blue color, you have to stop adding the titrant from the burette. So perform the titration slowly near the end point. This is one advice, this is one requirement, that you need to do the titration slowly near the end point in order to get the accurate end point. So repeat the same procedure 2 or 3 times in order to get concordant values or agreeing values. When you are repeating it, that doesn't mean that you have to get the same value as that in the first case. You might get a slightly different value when you are doing it again and again. Let there be some difference, no issues, but see that values whatever obtained, they don't have large difference. If they have large difference means either you are not adding the reagents properly or you don't know how to do the titration. Now, estimation of total hardness of water. This is just summarizing. Solution taken in the burette, it is standard solution of disodium salt of EDTA. Solution taken in the conical flask is 25 ml of hard water, and to that you are adding 5 ml of buffer solution to maintain a pH 10, that is ammonium hydroxide, ammonium chloride buffer. Then indicator you are adding Areochroma black tea, and end point you are getting wine red to clear blue. Now this is the structure of EBT. This is the structure of EBT. You need not by heart, or you need not study also. You need not try to learn also, because it is little difficult for your level. And here there are two hydrogen atoms. These two hydrogen atoms in the solution form, they will move into the solution as H plus ions, and then this O minus they will bind with the magnesium or calcium ions present in hard water. That is the first step I showed you. When EBT reacts with the calcium or magnesium ions, it gives MEBT complex, that is wine red colored complex, that is oxygen will form a bond here. Magnesium will form a bond with the oxygen atoms, and it is also forming a bond with these nitrogen atoms, because nitrogen carries a lone pair of electrons. This is how MEBT complex is formed. It is not strong complex, it is a weak complex. It is a wine red in color. And this is EDTA, forming complex with calcium and magnesium. In between somewhere I have explained that during the course of the titration, calcium and magnesium ions, large number of calcium and magnesium present, will go with the EDTA. See, we have taken disodium salt of EDTA here. That is only for the practical purpose. As such, it is more soluble in water. Otherwise, you can do the titration with EDTA also. So, when EDTA reacts with calcium, it forms a complex like this. See here, it is there are 4 tetraacetic acid, 4 acetate ions. Here calcium ions, 1 calcium ion, it will form a bond with the 2 oxygen atoms and 2 nitrogen atoms. Like this, a complex is formed. And similarly with magnesium ions also, the complex is formed like this. But these complexes are not having any specific color. They are colorless complexes. But during the course of the titration, almost all calcium and magnesium ions present in the free state, they will go with the EDTA, and MEDTA complex is formed. Now this is your burette readings column. Now initial burette reading, final burette reading, and volume of EDTA used. Say initial burette reading you have taken it as 20.0. As you have not filled the burette till 0, say you have filled it to 20, that is corresponding to your eyesight. And final burette reading, when wine red color changes to clear blue, so you have get it as you have got it as say 28.9. So this is your final burette reading. And now the difference you have got it as 8.9 that you are reporting here. And then you are getting this value attested by your teacher. That's the first trial. And next trial you are doing again. You need not adjust it. You can write this value as initial burette reading for the second trial. And then you are doing the titration, and this time you are getting as it is 28.9, and this time you are getting it as say 37.9. It is 37.9. In that case, okay, some value you will get here, it is 9. Okay, and similarly you take here 37.9 this time. Now you are getting it as that is say 46.8 something. Okay, and now you write what is the difference between this, and whatever value you are getting here, that is 18 minus 9, that is 9, and it is 15 minus 7, that is 8 you are getting. So it is 8.9. So every time you go and get your values attested by your teacher. Now among the three values whatever you are getting here, it may be correct or it may not be correct also. You don't know. But you go and get your values attested. And after doing all the three trials, you will be given correct value. Correct value by the teacher, that is CV. This correct value will be calculated as per the weight of EDTA you are reporting. Means you are weighing the EDTA. No, it is different for different students. Every student will come and report the weight of EDTA. Based on the weight of EDTA the student is reporting, the teacher is calculating the correct value to be got by the student while he or she is doing that titration. And this titer value, if the teacher is telling the titer value to be got by the student is 9.1, the correct value is 9.1. In this case, we will take now best two trials. Say 9 I can take, it is very close. 9 and 9.1 difference is that is just plus or minus 0.1 difference here. And 0.1 difference means that value, full marks will be given. To this particular value, full marks will be given. It's only 0.1 difference. Whereas if I take another trial now, that is 8.9, the difference is 0.2 ml. So 0.2 ml error is also allowed. In that case also student will get full marks. So out of the three trials, two trials are taken, and both these trials, if the error is less than or equal to plus or minus 0.2, then full marks will be awarded. Otherwise, depending upon the error, for example plus or minus 0.3 error is there, means 2 marks will be deducted. Plus or minus 0.4 error is there, means 4 marks will be deducted. Exactly how much you are losing marks, that will be discussed at the end. So this is how we will do. And here, after doing all the three trials, you are not supposed to take the mean value. Any one of the values you will take it here. Say 8.9 you are taking any one of the values, that is of your choice. We will not tell you what value you have to take for the calculations. And this value CV we are giving in the regular class just to make you know that how you are doing the experiment, whether you are doing the experiment properly or not. But in the examination we are not giving this CV value. Therefore you will only decide which value you have to take for the calculation. And once it is done, that you have to do the further calculation, and before that you have to do one simple calculation. It could have been done earlier. First you are given that weighing bottle and EDTA crystals. I told no, EDTA to be weighed accurately, some value you will be recording here. That is weight of EDTA plus the bottle weight. Next, weight of weighing bottle alone means you are transferring the EDTA to the standard flask. The empty bottle you have to weigh again, that is W2 gram. Now if you are subtracting W1 from W2, you will get how much EDTA you have transferred to 250 ml. That is, you have prepared that solution in 250 ml standard flask. That weight it is W, but that weight is in 250 ml. And you have to calculate the molarity of the EDTA solution, that is given by the formula W into 4 divided by molecular weight of EDTA. W is this one to be multiplied by 4. That is because this is the weight per 250 ml and here strength to be calculated, weight per liter to be found out. Now weight per liter in 250 ml W gram is dissolved, means in 1000 ml how much is dissolved you have to find out. That is equivalent to multiplying the weight by 4. Then molecular weight of EDTA, that is 372.4. You find out what is the molarity of EDTA solution. Once you get the molarity of EDTA, you have to find out the molarity of hard water, that is volume of EDTA. You have already taken it as 8.9 something, and then M EDTA, whatever you get, that is molarity of EDTA, divide by 25, you get molarity of hard water. And that molarity of hard water, whatever is obtained, if you multiply that one by 100, that is molecular weight of calcium carbonate, then you get hardness per liter of water. In liter of water, what is the hardness? That is how much calcium and magnesium ions are present in a liter. So that value you have to express it in milligrams, multiply by 1000. And the same value you have to write here as total hardness of the given water sample, but you have to express it in ppm of calcium carbonate, because 1 ppm is 1 milligram per liter. Here you are getting hardness per liter in milligram, that itself is a ppm. It's the same value you have to write here. And next, as I already explained to you, for all the experiments in part B, be it total hardness, be it calcium oxide in cement solution, copper in brass, COD experiment, iron in hematite, and chlorine in bleaching powder, how your performance will be evaluated, that is based on this particular scheme of evaluation. And here, if the error is plus or minus 0.2, then you will get 13 plus 13, means out of the 3 trials we are choosing 2 best trials. No, for that each trial will get full marks. But if the error is plus or minus 0.3, this error we are checking from the correct value. We are comparing your titer value with the correct value, and after verifying, we are calculating the error, and if the error is plus or minus 0.3, in that case each trial will get 11 marks. Suppose out of the 2 trials chosen, if one trial falls in this range, for that trial 13 will be given. Another trial error is minus plus or minus 0.3, means another trial will get 11 marks. Plus or minus 0.4 means 9 plus 9, plus or minus 0.5 means 7 plus 7, plus or minus 0.6 means plus 5 plus 5, and greater than 0.6 error if you report the value, then the marks will be given 0. Therefore, while doing the titration, you have to be very, very careful. You are not supposed to do any kind of manipulation. Do the experiment with all the sincerity and report the value as it is shown in the burette reading. Whatever value you get, the same is to be reported. In case if you don't get the exact value, at least you will get to know where you have made mistake. The teacher will let you know your mistakes, so that you can rectify that mistake and repeat that experiment. So don't avoid repetition of the experiments. Repetition of the experiments doesn't mean that you have failed in doing the experiments. By doing the repetition, you will understand better. Thank you.